From Television City in Hollywood, it's Tattletales. Welcome to the game of celebrity gossip, Tattletales. And now, here's the star of Tattletales, Bert Convey.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to Tattletales. Thanks for tuning us in. Thank you all for coming and being with us today. I see a lot of people from groups. That's a high school in Brooklyn, and we'll get to that in a minute. We have a terrific new group behind me today, and you're going to meet them right now. Winning money for the blues section from a big hit dynasty, Joan Collins and Ron Cass. Winning money for the yellow section today, Barbie Benton and George Grado. And winning money for the red section, Helen Rayburn, and from Match Game, Mr. Gene Rayburn. Hello. Welcome to you all. It's nice to see you back again, Joan and Ron and Helen and Gene. And this is your first time, Barbie and George. Welcome to you. Thanks for coming. I got to tell you how thrilled I am for you, Joan, really, because the show is such a big hit, and you're terrific on it. You're nasty and wonderful.
Yes, indeed.
Isn't it delicious to play
it's so wonderful to be nasty. My true character can finally come out.
Yes. And also, it's a special day. We should also mention, I think it's really nice, that you and Ron are celebrating your 10th anniversary.
That's right.
We wish you very good wishes on that.
And they said it wouldn't last.
Yes. And if things go real well today, you might make 11, and I hope you do. Guys, here's the first question. It's worth $150. Listen carefully. Men, you have a very, very erotic dream about one of your wife's lady friends. Would you tell your wife about it? Yes or no? You have a very erotic dream. Off you go. Does Ron dream a lot, Joan?
Yes, not only does he dream, he also snores occasionally. I think it's when he's snoring that he's having the best dreams. I have some very attractive lady friends, I must say.
You do, huh?
Yeah, because I really like attractive women.
Yes.
And so I find that they are my closest friends. I've got a whole bunch of them all over the world, yes.
You got any numbers? Or no?
Not on me, maybe later. Anyway, I would say that if he had an erotic dream about one of them, yes, I think he probably would tell me.
He would? Would he take glee in telling you about that?
He wouldn't take glee. He would just tell me. But he might not go into a blow-by-blow reporting of what exactly went on.
I understand. The idea is he will tell you, yes.
Yes.
Here he comes. Ron, would you tell your wife about it, yes or no?
I've never had an erotic dream about one of my wife's friends. So,
if you did, however...
Well, my erotic dream's about her. I'll tell you, yes, I'd tell her about it.
That's right. That's what you said. Absolutely right.
One up to the blues.
Well, you've started off very nicely. You've never had an erotic dream about one of your wife's friends, eh?
No.
Well, that's all right. You don't have to.
Ask about me.
I do, of course. That's what I said.
Of course,
I
of course.
about Joan.
Barbie, what will George say?
Well, I would imagine that if he were to have an erotic dream about one of my gorgeous girlfriends, that he would probably tell me about it so that we could laugh about it.
Oh.
But I'm sure that he has lust in his heart.
Would you say you could laugh about it? Would you find that terribly amusing?
Sure.
Yeah.
Because he did tell me.
That's true.
But then I'll have to wait and hear his answer. If he didn't tell me, I'll smack him.
That's right. We'll find out now, won't we? George. Oh, George.
Yes, Bert.
Are you going to tell Barbie?
Well, that's a very interesting question.
Probably why we asked it.
Yes. I would tell you one thing, though, Bert. If I had an erotic dream about my wife's man's friend, I certainly wouldn't tell. But I think this I would, because we have a very open relationship, and the answer I would have to say is definitely yes.
Yes, and you're right. What a guy. I want to thank you for shaving to be on the show with us today, George.
I did about 20 minutes ago. There you go.
Helen, what will Gene say?
Well, if Gene could have an erotic dream
back, Helen.
About anybody, I think he'd tell me.
No, we didn't say thought. We said dream. Okay.
I think he dreamed about someone, my friend, well, someone. And he had an erotic dream. Yes, I think he'd tell me. I think he'd be so thrilled.
Of course.
Not much eroticism in his life.
He'd come to you for congratulations.
Absolutely.
Here he is now. Gene,
Yeah.
you had this erotic dream about one of Helen's friends. What are you going to do?
I suspect my wife has been making sport and jokes at my expense.
Nonsense.
I could see Sid Grossfeld back here. He laughed so hard he fell out of the chair.
Well, I'll tell you what, Bert.
My wife has not one jealous bone in her body. She is the perfect person. She trusts me implicitly, and therefore I would tell her everything.
That's right. You got it. Everybody got it? Not hard at all. We split that one 3 ways. We'll come back with our second question in just a moment. You tell all? Do you? At home? Look out. Hello. Question number 2 coming up, and this is it. If you're ready to go, gentlemen, we have a 3-way tie. What a nice way to begin. We'll fix you. Men, you pick up some snapshots at the Photoshop and look through them. There's one of your wife that makes her look unattractive. It's not easy to do, but we're saying that for fun. Would you throw it away right then and there, or would you bring it back to her with the others? What would you do if that happened? Or has it happened? Off you go. We'll start with you, Barbie. There you are. He's got the pictures, and one of them is really not flattering. What would George do?
Oh, he'd bring it back.
He would?
And he'd shove it in front of my face.
Say, there,
He'd
there.
make sure that I saw that one.
He would, eh?
Yes.
What a rotten guy.
I know.
He wouldn't throw it away at all.
No, he'd say, there's something wrong with your makeup, dear. I think you should work on that.
Oh, he would make it
He would
constructive.
try to help me, actually.
What would you do if you saw a picture of yourself? Would you pick them up?
If I saw a bad one of George, I would probably hold it back.
Yeah. What about if you saw a bad one of you?
If I saw a bad one of me, personally, I would rip it up so fast.
Throw it away, right. But George won't, you say?
No, I think he'd show me everything.
Okay, here he comes. Hello there, George.
Hello there, Bert.
What are you going to do with the pictures?
Well, that's another good question. I think I would probably bring that picture to my wife.
That's what she said. You're right. No trepidation on your part at all, George?
No, because I know that once she saw it, we would burn it together.
Aha. Helen, what will Gene say?
Oh, I don't know what Gene will say. I think he probably would bring it home because he doesn't like to waste anything, and he probably would like to tear up the picture. So he'd say, here, dear, it isn't very good looking, but this is the way it is. Sure, he'd show it to me.
He'd bring it home. He wouldn't tear it up. On the other hand, let's put the shoe on the other foot. What would you do if you saw some pictures and a couple of Gene were just awful?
I'd tear them up, and I'd tear them up myself, too, which I've done many times.
See how much you love them, and they don't care, do they?
They don't.
Okay, he's going to bring them home. Here he comes. Gene, what are you going to do with the pictures? One of them's unattractive.
Well, you know, this has happened. We've been taking pictures for years, and one of us will go get them and bring them home, and I don't think I've ever thrown away a picture. My wife knows that she's secure, and she's beautiful and gorgeous and all that, and so why should I throw it away? I wouldn't throw it away.
That's what he said. Well, that's easy. Who's smart? All right, Joan. Let's see if we can complete that.
Oh, dear, oh,
Yeah,
dear.
it's going to be different,
I've
is
got to
it?
keep up with the Joneses here. Well, Ron takes pictures constantly. I mean, he's a camera freak. And he's taken a lot of me through the years, without makeup, in all kinds of different poses and situations.
Oh, really?
Yeah, and yes, and sometimes when I'm asleep. He loves to take pictures of me when I'm asleep, falling asleep in front of the television set. And he will show them to me. And I'll say, how can you possibly take a picture of me when I'm asleep? You know, having had maybe 2 or 3 glasses of wine too many. It's not really nice to do.
No.
Anyway, if he does that, he does not throw it away. He would show it to me, whatever it was, however ghastly I looked.
These 3 guys are diabolical, aren't they? They don't care. Look at this, sweetheart. Okay, you'll say
And
yes.
gloat.
He'll bring it back. Okay, you picked up the pictures, Ron. What are you going to do with them?
This is a tricky question for us because, first of all, I take a lot of pictures of Joan, and I've never seen a bad picture of her yet. If it was pictures that I took, and I found an accidentally bad picture, I'd throw it away. But if they were hers, I wouldn't.
So?
How do you answer that one?
Well,
I'd throw it away.
No, that's not what she said.
I told you it was a tricky question.
Oh, I thought he was not going to say that, but he did. I'm sorry.
You never throw it. What about all those ones drunk by the television set asleep?
Oh, they were pretty.
That turns him on. Are you kidding?
Right.
Barbie and George and Helen and Gene are right at halftime. We'll split that in half. Girls, step to the rear, if you will, ladies, and we'll come back with the second half in just a moment. Don't throw anything away. For God's sake!
Wouldn't you taunt it?
Come on. We're going to start here. It's halftime, as you can see, and I have the gentleman out front with me. But we have a group in front here that, and you would tell us who are these people here?
Erasmus Hall alumni. We're having a reunion from Brooklyn.
Yeah.
We're having a reunion on May 16th, and we're looking for ex-Erasmians.
Okay, ex-Erasmians? What a nice way to say that. All you ex-Erasmians from Erasmus Hall, please show up May 16th. Is it here in Los Angeles? There's a lot of famous people. I mean, Barbara Streisand, Barbara Stanwyck, who else? Marty Engels, Lanny Kazan, a lot of people from Erasmus Hall. I said Barbara Stanwyck. Okay. Erasmus Hall doesn't listen. Okay. If you're ready, ladies, here's a question for you worth $150 to your rooting section. Ladies, you're introduced to a Supreme Court judge at a party. You notice that his fly is open. Would you tell him about it, yes or no? Would you mention it? Bye. Well, he's a Supreme Court judge. After all, he is a dignified man. Obviously, he's not wearing his robes. What will Helen say, Gene? What will she do?
Well, I think Helen is a compassionate person.
Yeah.
And to avoid any further embarrassment to him, she would find some very diplomatic, gentle, sweet way of telling him to zip up your fly, Judge. Or tell him to close his robes or whatever.
Yeah. Diplomatic way, like pointing and giggling, which is always good.
No, she would find some sweet, gentle way of doing this so that he would only turn a purple shade of crimson.
Okay, she would tell him. Here she comes. Helen, what are you going to do? There is his honor.
Well, I would go up to him and say, Your Honor, your court is open and your jury is out.
Right.
Oh, sign up that woman.
Very well said. My goodness.
But what's her answer?
And the verdict is guilty. You're absolutely right, Helen. Thank you. My goodness. What will Ron say, Joan, or what does he do?
What would Joan do?
I mean, what will Joan do, Ron? I'm all right.
She would giggle a lot.
Yeah.
And probably look for me and tell me, why don't you tell that idiot that his fly's open? I think she'd tell him. No,
you'd say, excuse me, you idiot. I mean, you're right.
I don't know how she would say it.
Yeah.
It's a very British way.
Yes. Oh, that'd be interesting to hear how she would say it. Hello there.
They have an expression for it, but I can't remember what it is.
They have an expression for it? Oh, goody. We're going to find out now. Here she comes.
Right.
Joan, what are you going to do? Are you going to tell him or not?
Well, this is a very delicate situation.
Yes.
I mean, what kind of Supreme Court judge goes around with his fly open at parties? I mean, is it deliberate or not? It depends. I mean, if I was working with an actor and we were going on stage, yes, I would tell him. But a Supreme Court judge who I've just been introduced, I would say, hello, your lordship, your highness, or whatever, and I would turn away. I would not tell him.
You wouldn't tell him. I'm sorry. Ron said you would. And he said you had a particularly English way of saying. Is there an expression in English in England for that?
Don't know. What is it? Your fly is open?
Oh, that's English. She's right. It is. I understood it, and you?
No,
it's English.
It would depend on the person. A Supreme Court judge, no.
Yeah, it would be tough. You're right.
I would be in awe.
There are no Supreme Court judges in England.
There aren't any Supreme Court judges in England?
It's a different thing.
Yes, a different judicial
Chief
system.
Lord Justice.
Chief Lord Justice. So you wouldn't say your lordship.
No, your...
What news?
Yeah. What would you say? What do you...
Your welfareship. I don't know.
Your welfare ship.
What's it say?
Thank you.
Your
George,
fly
what will
ship.
Barbie say?
Well, Barbie's very diplomatic, so I think what she would do is probably go around and see how many other men had their flies open. And if the majority of men had their flies open, she wouldn't say anything.
Right.
But if less than 50% had it, she would mention it very diplomatically.
I see.
So I would say, Yes, she would say so.
Yes.
Absolutely.
We should have reworded this for the percentage of men at the party.
Right.
Who have their
We
fly
want
home.
that question
That's, you know, that's the first, that's the last thing any actor, anybody, I do it every time just before I walk out here. You always reach in and check your fly, right? Because that is the kind of laugh you just don't want to get, you know?
Bert, as long as you don't reach in and check my fly.
That's right. No, no.
I'm
only concerned with mine. Thank you, George. Here comes Barbie. Barbie, what would you do now?
I would not personally mention it myself. However,
Well, you can finish it up.
I would hate to see the poor gentleman go through the entire party with his fly down, so I would bring it to my husband's attention and suggest that George mention it to the
Right,
judge.
right. You're still wrong, but it's a lovely answer. And Helen and Gene get the whole thing for the rest of the moment, and we'll come back in just a moment with our last question worth $300 and out of the cider. What would you do? Huh? I don't know. I think I'd say, Your Honor?
What's this stuff? Some cereal. It's supposed to be good for you. Did you try it? I'm not going to try it. You try it. I'm not going to try it. Let's get Mikey. Yeah. He won't eat it. He hates everything. He likes it. Hey, Mikey.
After all these years, life is still the good-for-you cereal that kids think is just plain good.
Okay, here we go. This one worth $300, and everybody can still win. If you're listening, ladies, listen carefully. Ladies, you're buying a home. The agent tells you he has an exclusive documentation. He has exclusive documentation that it was once the secret hideaway of a famous superstar. But if he reveals it to you, the house will cost you $2,000 more. Would you pay the premium to find out who it was? Yes or no? Okay? He can guarantee you that it was, but it's going to cost you a couple of grand more. Think about it. Off you go. Maybe it's the principal rather than the money. Maybe it is the money. Maybe you don't care. What do you think Joan will say? I am asking Joan, by the way.
You're asking Joan?
Yeah, she's buying a house. We've addressed the question to her.
She better tell the truth. She wouldn't want to pay the extra $2,000, but she'd find out some way or another.
Who it belonged to.
Yes, but she wouldn't pay the $2,000.
She wouldn't do it?
No.
Well, why wouldn't she do it, do you think?
She's a little tight.
Yeah? All right.
She watches her money.
She does?
Yeah.
Good for her. Now, she wouldn't care. See, the reason, I guess, if it was a home that someone had lived in, it would be common knowledge.
She'd be very curious.
But it was a secret.
She'd die to find out.
Yeah.
But I think that the $2,000 would be enough of a deterrent.
It would?
Yeah.
Okay, she'll say no. She wouldn't do it. Here she comes.
We'll see.
Joan, what are you going to do? It's going to cost you $2,000 to find out whose hideaway it was.
Well, $2,000's a lot of money, and Ron and I bought an awful lot of houses in our life, and I know a lot of superstars, so they all look pretty much, once you've met one superstar, you've met them all. I wouldn't pay the $2,000.
That's right. Absolutely right. You wouldn't be kind of curious because it'd be nice cocktail talk at the house, wouldn't it?
Well, I mean, all of those people would be at my house. They don't care.
That's right. Probably half of them have been there before, too.
Of course, yes.
Thank you, Joan. What will Barbie say?
Well, Bert, unequivocally, Barbie would not pay the $2,000 to find out, but she would have me pay the $2,000. No, I think that Barbie would not be that curious to spend $2,000 just to find out who it is.
Really?
Who it was. Yes, absolutely.
No kidding. All right. Have you ever lived in a house or bought a house that belonged to someone else who was well known?
Well, we don't know because we didn't spend the $2,000 to find out.
You're right again. Thank you, George. Let's see what Barbie says. Barbie, what are you going to do now? It's a couple $1,000. We'll give you the answer if you want to know whose house this was as a hideaway.
No.
No, definitely no. That's what he said. No, it wasn't hard for you at all. Why not, Barbie?
Well, if I was going to buy a house, I'd buy the house because I was very fond of the house itself, and it wouldn't impress me if anybody famous lived in it. Because I'm not comfortable in somebody else's surroundings. I would buy the house because I was comfortable there.
Right. Okay, you're still right. Gene, this will decide the game, sir, right here.
Barbie is such a simple, down-to-earth girl next door, isn't she? Just
And a smart businesswoman.
Yeah. Well, Helen, I think, would rather live with the mystery. I mean, if she lived in that house, knowing that a superstar used it as a hideaway, that would be more thrilling to have that mystery, and then you could talk about that.
Yeah.
Who was it who lived here? And it would be a constant thing for a conversation. So she definitely would not pay the $2,000.
Oh, she would think there would be more interest not to know.
Absolutely.
More interesting conversation about that.
Yeah, you could talk about that, say who was it, and play an eternal guessing game.
Aha! The answer is, have you ever lived in a house that someone famous had lived in before you?
Nope.
Have you ever rented one that someone lived in before you?
Nope.
Have you ever had a secret hideaway that maybe somebody would want to pay $2,000 to find out about?
Who told you?
See, we didn't tell the rest of it. It was you. Okay, the answer is no. Here she comes. Helen will decide the game right here and now. What are you going to do? Would you pay the $2,000 to find out who that superstar was?
Heavens, no. I have
That's right. You got it. You're all right. We split that. We split that 3 ways, but time is up, and Helen and Gene win it for the red section. We'll come back shortly and give the red section their money and their house, whatever else. Gene and Helen Rayburn, $375 for the red section. We had 1,000. They will divide 1,375 big ones. Thank you all, and thank you for watching us on Tattletales. Nice to see you. Bert Conley saying so long. See you next time. Bye.
In addition to cash awards, a member of the winning rooting section selected at random will also receive Norelco Clean Air Machine. Absorbs cigar and cigarette smoke, cooking, pet odors, and other pollutants. Filters air and freshens room. Norelco Clean Air Machine. An assortment of cosmetics. Helena Rubinstein introduces a new color classic for eyes, lips, fingertips. Classy, convincing. You've waited all your life to look like this. From Blue Luster Home Care Products, Blue Luster Dry, the upholstery cleaner for velvets and other delicate furniture fibers. Bissell's Double Action Floor Sweeper snaps up dirt and litter on carpet and bare floors. Great for quick pickups between vacuuming from Bissell.
Hey, what the blank is going on here? What the blank is he doing? Hey, I know her and him. They're blanking hilarious. Whoa, get a load of this blank. Holy blank, this is funny. Match Game, you'll laugh your blank off. Weekdays at 6:30 Eastern, 3:30 Pacific, only on Game Show Network.